So where we last left our party, they are continuing to travel west to make it to the, let's say, city of Oasis at the far side of the desert, traveling across river to make it that way. They've made it through a tribe of lycanthropes or skinwalkers, which turned out to be some of Wolfgang's wife's tribe. They agreed to assist them in trying to fix the drought that has been plaguing this land for many centuries, only continuing to get worse as time's gone on. And in their travels, they came across a burned-out camp just a burned-out camp where they encountered a number of bullets. Thinking quickly, Denier trapped two of the bullets in a impenetrable bubble of arcane force, while Asmo and T-Wig slaughtered the remaining one. The troop continued on westward, leaving the two trapped in the bubble for the meanwhile, as they make their way closer and closer to the grasslands of the west.
There's grass?
It's not indicative on the map, but yes, there are some dry prairie lands out this way. But you're still currently in the desert. Actually, you're at the moment in the tower that Denier has constructed for everybody. You've slept through the night. Asmo, you've taken another dose of your medicine, so make sure to mark that off.
Absolutely.
Everybody last night also had at least two of you last night had a very interesting encounter. One with their patron deity, and the other one with, his father. So.
I saw my dad last night, Wolfgang. Me too?
In a manner of speaking?
Yeah, but mine told me
I saw everyone and everything's dad last night.
Are we taking a rest, or are we?
Yeah, you guys got a full night's rest.
Okay.
Quick question. Do you recall how many I had, Nick? Because I'm having trouble finding my.
At the start of last session, I said that you had you expanded your week's worth to 10, so now you would have 9.
Okay, nine life potions. I'll call them.
9 days to live.
I want to see if I can find any, if we're in a grassland, I want to use, whenever we're in the grassland, I'd like to see if I could detect, locate animals or plants. I want to see if I can detect a deer.
Oh, sure thing. As soon as you reach them, from the altitude that you had been flying, you would have noticed that probably maybe at the pace that you're going, another 2 or so days travel at current pace. You saw what you thought to be a mirage at first, but the more you focused on it in the distance, the land itself seemed to be kind of moving and shimmering. That to you is kind of the telltale sign of flora. There's some sort of grass out that way, some sort of plains land. To mark it on the map itself, we're kind of looking out. Hold on, I gotta zoom in here so that I'm not kind of out this way near where these rolling hills are.
Okay, if we're flying, I'm gonna want to land there to see if I can find more ingredients for Asmo's medicine.
Yeah, it'll probably take another couple of days at current pace to make it that far. But you do know that it is ahead of you, as you have seen from the river. There's more water. Like, the river is stronger up there than it is where you're at currently. Where you're at currently, the water still runs kind of murky. You're actually to the point where if you did travel to the river from here, which is a couple hours from your camp southward, you'd notice that the water actually does flow here. Like, there is a river. It's not just a trickling stream between hunks of mud, but it is certainly a very dirty river at this point.
Okay. I'm gonna make sure that the fleshies get their water.
Yeah, luckily, one of you has a water skin that refills itself overnight, so don't have to worry too much on that front. And of course, you do have the ability to magically create water, but the last time you did that, let's just say the gods got a little angry with you. The lords of this land got a little angry with you.
Anytime I think to that, I cross my arms and I sit down and I pout. I don't have a face, so it's just me sitting with my arms crossed.
You take that piece of charcoal and draw 2 angry eyebrows and a frown.
Yeah, every time.
Exude an aura of pout.
Yeah, at the point you are in the desert, there's still a little bit of rocky outcrops popping up every which way. There are a couple of cliff faces to your north that seem to be remnants of the mountain that you came down that are still sticking up out of the sands every now and again. Looks like it continues on for a bit of the distance ahead of you. Out of curiosity, did anybody spend... I know a lot of you were... So I'm guessing Denier and Wolfgang are out on this one. But Asmo and T-Wig, would either of you have spent any time outside or just looking around the area?
Oh, me
No.
probably.
Not Asmo. He's sleeping on the couch.
All right, T-Wig, could you give me a perception check? We'll just consider this the night before.
26.
In the distance, out of one of these cliff faces, you actually noticed it seemed to be like a small amount of commotion. It started with like what seemed to be like a little flicker, like a green flicker, then like a little orange flicker, like sparks in the very far like somebody setting off like a sparkler every now and again in the distance. But it caught your eye, and as you looked out that way, as the commotion seemed to have been dying down from this cliff face, you just see what appear to be... from this distance, you obviously can't make out the shape, but a procession of dark figures moving forward in what seems to be a relatively large line with a slightly larger lump kind of in the middle of this line.
A large lump in the middle of it.
Yeah, to you it just looks like a bunch of specks, like dark specks in the shadows under this moonlight, wandering out that way and continuing out westward from this cliff face that they came out of.
Out of character, and just because it's thematically appropriate, I guess the reunion is happening.
Thematically, that is relatively what it looks like to you. Actually.
Yeah, my brain went to that. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, and that's really far away, though, like really, really far away.
From where you are, it's far enough that... it's close enough that you were able to notice it from ground level where you were at, but it's far enough away that it would probably take you several, like at least 2 or 3 hours by bird form to reach there.
Okay. Well, they seemed like not super friendly based off of the explosions that I could only assume were not friendly.
Yeah, hard to say from where you were at, but it definitely it seemed like something was going on over there when it managed to catch your eye.
Didn't the giant tell us there were like druids in the mountains or something, or were those the lycanthropes?
Yeah, he referred to them as shaman, and those were you assumed the lycanthropes that you the tribe of solitude that you met up with.
So this is something completely new. Okay.
Potentially.
Noted. I wonder if they would have stuff that we need. Okay. I will let everyone sleep, and I myself will go into my state. I'm not going to keep my eyes off that mountain though, just in case something comes towards us.
Sure. Denier, does your fortress have a roof access?
Does not say. That would probably be DM's discretion.
I'll say that you could have a hatch that leads out to the roof if you wanted.
I want to sit on it like Batman.
Then that probably would have been where you spotted it from.
Hell yeah.
And you just kind of enjoy the desert night. It's since you don't necessarily feel temperature, you register it as, you know, mobility wise, but it's a very cool night. You might describe it as cold, but if you had breath, you'd be able to see it at night, basically.
Gotcha.
It's very calm out here, and you can see pretty, like, with as little condensation as there is out here, you can see pretty much every star in the sky.
Oh, that's really nice.
But yeah, the rest of you rest through the night. T-Wig, you kept your focus out that way. I'll let that perception roll run with it. You didn't notice anything from out there, but you did hear the crackle of thunder to the east of you, which caught your attention. You looked out that way, and it looks like the thunderstorm that's still raging above the volcano seems to be blowing with the breeze out this way a little bit, but it's not like reaching you or anything like that. It's just kind of covering the mountaintop and blowing around that way.
Mm.
So in the morning, after you've all rested, rest of the night was fairly uneventful. You all convene down in the common area.
I'm immediately going to
what's
tell
left
them,
of your ruined bulet meat.
thanks, whoever
Mhm.
cooked that. I'm
Everybody.
gonna tell, I'm gonna turn to Wolfgang and I'm gonna be like,
Hey, Wolfgang,
Yes.
there are mountain people.
Really?
What?
What direction?
Towards the mountain, silly.
and I just kind of gently punch Wolfgang in the arm.
Oh, sorry. Right. There was like pshoo and pshow, and then all of a sudden there was like a lineup of people going up the mountain with like a big thing in the middle.
Yeah, more specifically, they were traveling out, what seemed to be out of the mountain, and
Oh.
continued on westward.
They kept going west, maybe towards where we're going. Bless you.
Thank you.
I read in the book that you say that because it's said that evil spirits are leaving the body when you sneeze.
Well, they better fucking leave.
What?
They don't know what they're getting into. Anyway, well, if they were heading west, then I don't know. Any kind of civilization might be worth looking into.
Well, I mean, any civilization that may or may not have some magical plants, you know.
Yeah. Well, the one thing,
Plants or diamonds.
the
Remember, we need one of those.
one thing I'd like to find is, I have wormwood from the lycanthropes. I have plenty of charcoal. I need ashwood bark, nightshade, and I need deer urine. So maybe instead of flying today, we could go through the fields and maybe I could see if I can find some of that
Why don't
stuff.
you turn into a deer and pee into a jar or something?
Asmo. I don't
What?
pee. I don't have that ability to do that.
But where does the food go?
Oh,
I just open up my center and like all this shit that I've eaten is just sitting there.
Oh, God!
The bees have grown their nest out to consume it.
God.
And that's top 10 most horrifying things I've ever seen.
I close it.
Yeah, it's not. That's not even on my list.
So
We
what
could go to the fields.
I could do though, because I don't know if I want to really kill an innocent deer, is I can turn into like a very handsome stag and be like, "Hello, dear, I am T-Wig," and I'll like flourish my antlers, and they'll be like, "Oh my God, T-Wig, you're so handsome! I can't contain it," and then they'll pee. That's how that works, right?
Yeah.
Hello?
Everybody's just sips tea.
Oh,
Wolfgang's just sort of staring incredulously right now.
you need doe urine, right?
Yep.
That's a shame.
What? Why?
Because if you needed buck urine, you could have just use the magic that you said you were going to use on me to turn me into a cat, turn us into a deer. There you go.
Oh my god. Who needs to pee right now?
But you said you need
give me a
female.
Constitution check. We'll see.
Let's see. 14? Or that's a
Anybody
save.
else? Oh, that was a save. Those don't count.
All right. 3.
Oh, Wolfgang needs to pee super hard.
9, but not as bad as Wolfgang.
Yeah, Asmo's feeling it, but Wolfgang's basically like doing that one knee over the other thing. Now that he's heard about it, it's like, oh yeah,
I know.
I really do.
Now that you're bringing it up. All right.
Okay.
I literally have white-tailed doe in my animals I know, so I am gonna take Wolfgang out. This is so fucking weird. I'm gonna take Wolfgang outside.
Wolfgang, do you want us to watch what's about to happen? Or is,
I mean, you're gonna have to drink it, Asmo.
What?
If you want to find out exactly what you're putting in your body.
I mean, should we cut out the middleman, or should I just lie down on the ground, or what? I feel
I really don't care.
I really feel like we should.
Denier, come here. You have to hold the cup. Come here.
I feel like we should all be wearing blindfolds, so none of us see anything or remember this.
I think I did something similar to this once, a long time ago.
Why?
Doctor, hey.
Can we not?
I've led a very adventurous
Yeah,
life.
let's not talk about your ex-wife, okay? Let's just.
Has nothing to do with my wife.
Does anybody have a container in which we can put the pee? Because I don't. I have shaped water, which is how I'm gonna get the pee into the container, but
I assume one of us has an empty health
potion bottle.
Health potion vials.
yeah, we're gonna load it into those.
All right. What is the volume of a deer's bladder? Let's see how many vials.
All right, let's Google.
Welcome to D&D, where shit like this happens.
Oh boy.
You think because I'm an Aasimar or unnamed holy race? You think because I'm part angel have additional healing properties?
Well, you're gonna be all deer here in a second, so.
Holy deer.
All right. So does anybody have? How much space do you have to contain this deer urine?
Looks towards my companions.
I have.
I have a flask.
I have.
That's good. That works.
I have reservations.
Empty potion bottles. I have 3 empty potion bottles.
Perfect. All right, so I'm going to take all those from everybody. I'm going to open up the flask. I'm going to set it on the ground. I'm going to open every single potion bottle kind of in a row. And then I'm going to turn to Denier. And I'm going to be like,
Okay, Denier, your job is to make sure those don't fall over, okay?
Okay. Hang on.
Asmo?
Denier goes into the kitchen, to his kitchen, which is still there, and he grabs a much bigger container.
doesn't that disappear, though, when it leaves? Because we're outside.
Once we go outside. But that at the very least has a place that we can like bring bottles in and pour into.
Oh no! I have control water. I can just control the pee into the bottles.
Yeah.
Okay.
My pee.
So guys, D&D is a wild fucking ride sometimes.
It sure is.
So
this is the second campaign I've been involved in where one of the people voluntarily turns into a deer.
Nick, in editing, can you add like the water, like the Avatar water bending sound effect, or water bending like ha 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 ha, like when this is happening? What? No.
So here's the plan. I am gonna polymorph Wolfgang into a deer. He is going to proceed to pee, and as he is peeing, I am going to shape water his pee into the various containers. And when immediately we're filled up, I'm going to drop the spell on Wolfgang. Okay? Everyone okay with this plan?
Got some tranquil peeing music going for you.
Asmo, your moral support. All right. I cast polymorph.
This is only the second wackiest thing I've done in D&D.
As you cast polymorph, you reach out and you touch Wolfgang. Wolfgang, you immediately start to feel weird and uneasy as you start to hunch over. Your bones all start to crack and shift, as your hands start to clench down into these little hooflets. As they begin to touch the ground, your body transforms into that of a white-tailed doe. Your penis disappears, which feels really weird. Like, it just folds into an innie.
The shock on Wolfgang Doe's face is palpable.
His ears are flicking, eyes darting back and forth real quick.
I stomp my hoof. It's like, come on, let's get this over with.
Well, hurry up and pee then.
And I will cast control water.
All right, performance check, Wolfgang. How do you act under pressure?
Are you actually giving me a performance check for this?
Yes. Roll performance.
Okay. Roll to pee.
It's based off my peeing is based off my charisma, I guess. But here I go.
It's how confident you are.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, you're plenty confident. You're just like, okay, 1, 2, let it go, and it just a torrent of deer urine starts.
All right, control. I'm gonna shape water it into the containers as he's doing that. I'd also like to point out that by moving the water, the pee, I do not cause any damage. So I just want to point that out real fast.
That's fine. You are coaxing the urine out of his deer bladder.
I'm just doing kind of like a wave motion, just kind of into each bottle. And as each bottle kind of fills up, I just switch to the next one until we filled up all the containers.
Asmo just stands there in the awkward silence and says,
I think it would be best if none of us ever spoke of this ever again after this.
As you urine bend all of the deer pee into the containers, you fill them all up, and the pee keeps going, but you've run out of space with which to put it. So
all right, so I'm gonna
eventually you're just making funny shapes in the air with the pee.
I point with my deer hoof to the containers as if to say, there it is.
I will go over and I will seal up each container with corks or whatever need be, and clean them off with more shape water so that they're not, gross and covered in pee. And then,
all right, and then you scatter the rest of the urine to the wilds.
So how many? That was a flask of deer pee. So it's got a flask.
A flask I'm going to count as like basically 2 potion bottles. So I will say with the amount of deer urine you have, with the recipe that you have, can you give me a medicine check with advantage?
Medicine check with advantage. How many? Just before I do that, how many vials did we have of the potion bottle? Sorry.
3.
You have 3 potion vials and 2 from the flask, so technically 5 vials worth total.
Sorry, I just gotta make sure I write this down in my inventory. All right, medicine check with advantage, you said?
Yeah, you have the recipe, and you know what needs to be done.
Okay, 19.
With a 19, so with the quote-unquote watered-down version that you've been giving Asmo, now with the additional necessary ingredients, you should be able to bump this up to a full 12 days worth of potion, or 13 days worth of potion.
Okay, then I will do so to increase our time.
So Asmo, feel free to add 4 more doses for yourself.
I'll just
I will drop the polymorph spell on Wolfgang.
Immediately, everything starts folding back out the way it should be. You have fingers again.
Oh, well, that's the first time I've been a doe. Second time I've been a woman.
Wait, what?
What?
Long story. I'll tell you about it later.
We're traveling for a long time.
Answer the question!
Don't actually do it.
Yep.
Okay.
No, Adam.
Really want to know?
That's a cutaway.
Scene cut.
There you go. And
Well,
that's
it all
cut.
started when...
All right, well, westward we go.
All right. Remember, you only drink that at night, otherwise you get super sleepy.
No, that's water, actually.
Why were you...
practicing.
You're only allowed to drink Wolfgang's urine at night.
No, I should be able to do it whenever I want to.
Hey, Asmo.
Only if you ask nicely.
The
Hey.
miasmo. The miasmo.
All right, so once you're all done and ready, you tear down the fortress. Turns back into rocks and sand. And how do you plan to mount up for the first stretch of this journey? Do you just want to make the eagles again, or?
I want to stay near the ground if we're going through a grassland, personally, because
you know that's going to be a few days away for right
Oh,
now.
okay, then we're eagling it up.
All right, so summon
long-
your eagles. You turn into an eagle, and everybody mounts the appropriate vessel.
So long
And-
strider on that too, so they have an additional 20 feet per dash.
All right.
Their flight. So, once again,
Welcome aboard T-Wig Airlines. Thank you for flying with us today. Before we take off, we'd like to go through our safety.
yeah, same shit.
Skip.
And completely zone out.
All right, you take off,
Sir,
and
sir, please take your headset off before we take off.
you take off. You begin flying westward once again. Everything seems pretty uneventful until
Uh-oh.
T-Wig, give me a knowledge history with advantage, as this wasn't too long ago, but it's enough sessions ago that you might have forgotten.
What? Okay. It's 15?
15, you recall a warning from Red Screech back at Solitude of some holes that you would see sticking out of the dunes that might be hunters' traps for those trying to attack vultures or other various birds that are flying by for sustenance. You start to notice, you start to see those. You're getting relatively close to that area that you saw those, saw the disturbance last night too, just a little further ahead.
Well, I'm a bird.
You are.
So
And you're traveling with 2 additional birds.
I'm gonna screech out to my birds for them to stop.
All right, they begin to slow down at your pace.
How long have we been traveling at this point?
Feels like about a little over an hour right now.
Okay, because
Since
they're
you
gonna
took off?
disappear. They're gonna disappear anyway. So I'm gonna bring us down to a descent, and then
All right, you start taking yourself lower. As you do, I want everybody to make me a perception check as you're looking out over this desert as T-Wig is taking you down lower towards this cliff face.
roll 20. You gonna be nice? There we go. 24.
17.
11.
Soft 20.
All right. T-Wig, you have no trouble seeing this with your bird eyes. Denier, you notice this too, and Asmo as well. As you're getting lower and lower, you obviously see these little holes coming out of the dune sides. They seem like little caves, but you're also noticing what appear to be bodies laying about the sand as well.
Humanoid or animal?
Humanoid. T-Wig, you can actually see that they are bescaled. Their skin seems to have a bit of a sheen to it, and they seem to wear, like, cheap fabrics along the lines of burlap, but you're not sure what it is. It just seems like cheap organic fabrics.
I'm gonna drop my form and run over and closely examine these people.
Major
Alright.
armor.
As you take everybody down for a landing, you land near this area, and you begin approaching this dune side. Alright, let me take everybody over here. And as you land, you start to notice more and more of these lizard-like bodies scattered amongst the sands here.
Not for nothing, but usually when you see a pile of bodies, you keep on going.
Was this
To
near
what?
where I saw these explosions, or no?
From your recollection, yes. This was actually where you saw everything emanating from.
Wolfgang, this is where I saw the fighting.
Hmm.
Asmo, can Asmo inspect one of the bodies for cause of death?
Go for it. Give me a medical check.
I'd like to help him.
with advantage then.
Yay! Thank you, 19.
19. As you're looking over this creature, it seems not unlike lizard folk that you're familiar with. They have a bit more horns to them. They definitely look as though they are natural cave dwellers. Their eyes seem to be a little clouded over. You're not entirely sure if that's because they're dead or if that's just how they are. But as you're looking at them, this one appears to have what appears to be a scorch mark on its back. And as you look over at another one, it seems to have a few arrows embedded in its back.
Flaming arrows. T-Wig, do you see any fire when you were doing that, when you were watching this fight or whatever?
I saw stuff that looked like the big banging things that guy who drinks too much had at his party.
Yeah.
Can I go inspect another body as well, actually?
Sure, I'll let that roll continue to ride. As you're looking around, you're noticing a few various different causes of death. Some of them appear to have been burned in some way, all over their back. They were all attacked from behind. They look like they were fleeing. Some of them have arrows in their back, and some of them look like they were either stabbed with a spear or a sword, but there were various blades, arrows, and various magics used to vanquish these creatures.
You guys stay out here. I'm gonna go check out their cave for a second here. If I come running out of the cave, turn into a bird.
So just walks over. Asmo's gonna pop his head here into the middle, like the left side of the middle caves.
All right, you pop your head into the cave, and as soon as you do, the smell of blood enters your nose. Well, I guess you can taste it in the air with your little snack tongue.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Asmo whistles and gestures.
Come on in. The water's fine. Ugh.
I'll follow and go inside.
T-Wig joins you.
Why not? I make sure I'm armored up, though.
Yeah, your mage armor sheens across your body.
I will also follow.
Is it dark in here?
Yes, it is fairly dark in here. I'm assuming you're the only one without night vision, though. So
I can't see in the dark.
Yeah, it's very dark for T-Wig.
Wolfgang, can we get a light?
I will cast light.
All right. Sure enough, as soon as Wolfgang does that, you start to see the bodies as you're walking into what appears to be this tribe's village. There are bodies everywhere. Male, female, for what you're assuming this race has for gender diversity anyway.
Asmo's gonna look to see if anything expensive, like if things were stolen, if this was a simple killing or this was a theft and a killing, because that definitely changes the perspective of what happened in this scenario. So Asmo's gonna look around for things that you would normally steal.
Investigation then, and as a
I'll help
person
him
who
with
knows
that.
how to okay, with advantage.
Well, thank you nonetheless, but 13.
13. You'll notice that a lot of things have been turned and flipped. It looks like it happened in the commotion. You're not noticing. First of all, you're not noticing necessarily anything of value, and you're not sure if that's because whatever was there of value was taken, or if there wasn't anything of value to begin with.
Hard to say if they were stealing anything or just walking on through here, just killing. Yeah. Looks.
It'd probably be a good idea to look for some kind of a granary or a food storage area.
You're
This
free to
was
do that. I'm I'm gonna keep looking around here at these bedrolls. I think I see a chest over there.
Make sure it doesn't move before you go looking at it.
I'll huck a rock.
Asmo, can Asmo find just a little rock on the ground?
Oh yeah, there's rocks everywhere. You're in a cave.
Asmo just grabs a little rock and chucks it at the chest here in the top left corner of the cave. Or rather, the northwestern corner of the cave.
As you do so, it makes a healthy tunk noise off the top. Doesn't seem to move.
Asmo just looks around, pulls out one of his knives, and just hurls it. Like,
sure enough, as you hurl the knife, it embeds itself in the top.
No, it's not a mimic. That or it's a masochist, so either way.
Asmo walks up to the...
You hear a no.
No,
Oh,
no.
God.
That's a different sword.
The sword of vengeance is here.
Oh! Oh!
How soon we
Asmo
remember.
Asmo is going to try and open the chest, or rather just, like, slide his knife along the edge to see if there's any traps.
Sure. Give me an investigation check as you're looking through this thing. You can use your Thief's Tools proficiency if you want.
Ooh, okay, I got an 18, though, so I think I'll just stick with
That's pretty good. As you're knifing around the edge of this thing, it doesn't seem to be particularly trapped, and what lock is there is minimal at best. It would not take you much effort at all to pop this thing open.
Asmo just looks at his thief tools.
No, not that one. Not that one. Ah, there it is.
Asmo just picks up the same rock. Smacks the lock with a rock.
Give me an athletics check.
10.
Even with a 10, sure enough, bang! You break this thing and you're able to pop it open pretty easy. It's a pretty cheap chest.
Alrighty. Asmo pokes his little snake's eyes in.
As you're looking in here, it seems that there's a couple of leather fabrics in there. You can smell the lye and chemicals that were used to tan it. It seems that they're fairly fresh, untailored rolls of leather.
It looks like they got a bunch of leather over here. It's like a bunch of resources were left, so...
Would that be valuable enough to kill an entire people over?
If it would be, you'd take it with you. Speaking of which, I'm going to be taking this with me.
Asmo is going to take the bolts of leather.
All right, you have 3 rolls of leather.
Alrighty.
And Daenerys, as you've continued further into the cave, you've spotted just more and more of these creatures' bodies lying about this cave.
Sorry.
What's up? You see, Wolfgang?
Lot more bodies.
Well, that's on brand.
Some of them actually look like they were, unlike the ones outside that look like they were fleeing, some of these look like they were attacked in the front, or many up top look like they were blasted by the magic and the arrows. Some closer to the bottom here look like they were slashed and stabbed.
Asmo's gonna head up to the northeast to where all the bodies are.
Sure.
Along the way. Asmo's gonna walk up the little, like, you know, up the stairs.
Yep, this little plank, these planks of dried out desert wood.
Does this appear to be a blacksmithy area?
It does appear to be a smithy of sorts. The materials and tools seem crude, but less crude than... it looks like they were acquired from somewhere. Like, you're not sure how developed these creatures are, but they do appear to know how to work a forge of some sort.
Asmo's just gonna, like, look around at the forge, the tables, this area.
All right, go ahead and give me another investigation while you're up there.
14.
14. Yeah, you find some bobs and like little bits and bobs up here, pieces of weaponry. Looks like a lot of spear and arrowheads. A lot of arrowheads. A lot of half-made arrows. A couple of unhewn bows, I should say. And they all appear to be made out of either cheap metal, but you find a couple obsidian arrowheads.
These people were crafting with obsidian, I think. Is that common for tribes? I don't know.
I look to Wolfgang. Kind of.
That was more of a Denier question. Can he hear me?
Denier's looking busy looking over this. How common is crafting with obsidian, and how frequent is obsidian in the Scorch or in this area?
Give me a history check.
Doubt Wolfgang would know.
11.
Can't really help.
Through what studies you were able to find on this area, it's hard for you to say how common, like, crafting materials are. You do know that there are a lot of volcanic rocks out this way, so obsidian isn't exactly it's not necessarily the hardest thing to come by, and it is something that can be hewn to be very sharp, so tools would be pretty easy to craft with such a material, at least stabbing and slashing materials would be. But you're not too familiar with the tribes out this way, as there is not a whole lot of information from the last century of this place's development.
Well, there's plenty of volcanoes around, which means that there's plenty of obsidian. I don't know about the tribes, folk. There's not been a lot of information about the last century or so. And this area I'm looking at, Lani, is this more of a campfire, or is this a different kind of workstation or what have you?
From what you're glancing at around here, it appears to be either some sort of communal hangout, or maybe it's some post for people to take a break from the smithy. It's hard to say necessarily what its whole use is, but based on its location, that's the best guess you have, is that it just appears to be some sort of a break area, or just some sort of resting spot.
All right, so there wouldn't be much in the way of supplies or anything here.
You can give me an investigation check, see if you find anything.
Fair enough, especially with the body.
Yeah.
Nope, 7.
There's not a whole lot around here that's worth salvaging. Everything that they do have is either cheaper than what you have, or just absolutely destroyed.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Looks like I found the rest point from the forge. Doesn't look like anything good over here. I would say that they got attacked, and then they ran into the cave as kind of a last stand. And whoever did this came in and pretty much finished off the job.
Lani, could I roll whatever check I need to roll to see if I could find maybe like a bug or like a mouse or like some sort of like little creature that might be living in here?
Sure,
like
survival.
A spider or something? Sure, okay.
The one thing that alarms me the most is seeing all their bodies, but nobody else's.
Soft 20.
Soft 20. Let's see. You find there are a number of small insects that you're able to find around here, kind of crawling amongst the bodies. A lot of them appear to be laying their eggs in open wounds to let their children try to thrive on the meat.
Okay. I'm going to try and, like, catch one.
Easy enough. There are plenty of mayflies humming around.
I'm going to cast Speak with Animals. I'm just going to talk to the gaggle of mayflies. I'm so sorry, by the way.
It's okay. As you begin to cast its tiny little form.
Gotta make my nest. Make my nest in meat.
What's up, my egg layers?
Oh, you know, just trying to survive. Just get family, make brood, die. Gonna die soon.
Yep, totally. You guys are so brave about that. Hey, I have some questions real fast for you. Were you here before the meat showed up?
Oh, meat's always been here. Just waited for it to die. Now it's dead. Now soon we die.
Cool. What killed it? Do you know?
Things killed it. Many things. Lots of things. Came quick. Left quick.
Came quick, left quick. On the scale of like a swarm to maybe like one of you, on a scale of like giant swarm to you, how would you put the amount of things that came through?
Less than this meat. Less than this amount of meat.
Less than this amount of meat. So there was less of them than these people here. Got it. Cool. Awesome. That's good for you. I'm proud. You're going to be a great mom.
I turn over to Wolfgang.
Wolfgang?
Yes.
So apparently whomever came through here, there was less of them than there were these guys. So I may not be a tactician, but it sounds like whoever came through here was very powerful to take on this many people at once.
You did say there was a group of people earlier, right?
Yeah, and like
Black cloaks, was it, Lanny?
They were dark shapes. Since it was night, all you were getting was moonlight, so you're not sure if it was just shadow or if they were wearing black.
they were like big people. I saw their shadows. And they were like heading westward. You know, I remember talking. Remember that big guy who I turned into a sloth?
Yeah.
He seemed to say that this place is perpetually like at war, and I've read a couple books about wars. Maybe that's what this was.
Still. This doesn't look like war. This looks like a slaughter. These people were in their homes.
While they're talking, Daenerys going to walk up to the north, and I would like to roll an investigation to check out what looks like these crates or these pallets or whatever these things are.
Sure thing. As you're walking up, you do notice that this does appear to be storage of sorts. Go ahead and...
16.
16 for investigation. You pop open one of the crates just to kind of take a look at what you're dealing with here, and this does not seem to be the work of this tribe, these crates. First of all, the materials that are built that they're built out of seem much more well crafted than any of the constructs that you've seen made by what you're assuming to be made by these creatures. And as you look inside, you do see what appear to be bullion of sorts, various types of metal bullion inside some of these crates, or inside the crate that you opened up anyway.
Yeah, I think I found their storage area. We've got a lot of metal over here.
Ingots, I should say. Bullion is specifically gold.
Can I try and see if they have ashwood bark? Because I'm seeing a lot of wood in here.
There are a lot of old, dried out trees, but yeah, go for it. Give me a nature check or survival check, whichever you prefer.
Survival's better by 2. 15.
15. This wood is very old and worn out. It's very hard, and a lot of it has already been shorn of its bark in order to be made ready for various purposes. So it's kind of hard for you to tell exactly what what some of these trees are, especially with how they've weathered and degraded over time.
Okay. It was worth a try, I thought.
Yeah, absolutely.
As I walk away, I think maybe if I turn Wolfgang into a tree and nah.
Just
I
start
think I've
taking
had
his
my fill of
flesh
being
little
turned
by
into
little.
things for today.
I mean, skin grows back, doesn't it?
There's a path down to the west over here.
I'm gonna check out these metal ingots.
Sure.
What materials are they?
Give me an investigation. It's not too hard as you're familiar with a lot, but
14.
as you're looking through, they are, to your eye, either fairly weathered steel or iron ingots is in the crate that Daenerys is looking at.
Huh. Steel and iron.
And these boxes are definitely beyond their ability to make. I'd say that they probably stole these from somebody or another. This entire place is a war zone for resources, groups fighting amongst each other to get any kind of supplies for their civilization or their groups.
Really? All these wooden logs, these kilns, you don't think they did this themselves?
Well, look at the quality of these crates. This doesn't look like their kind of manufacturing. And I'm going to go over here and I'm going to check out these crates as well.
Sure thing. As Wolfgang's presumably looking around this area with you, go ahead and give me an investigation with advantage.
24.
All right, you keep looking through things. You find a few more ingots here, but one of the boxes you pop open have what appear to be masterwork quality weaponry inside, and a few components that are like packed in with the weaponry. They look like basically just metal tubes, like that are about 1.5 inches in diameter and hollow.
The internet?
Yes, it's what we're talking through right now.
Yeah. Denier reaches in and he pulls out one of the weapons. As many as there are here, I don't think that they can make a weapon of this quality.
Yeah, you pull out a masterwork short sword that's very well. Well, I mean, it's masterwork. It's very well crafted, and the handle appears to be made out of what appears to be ivory.
Ooh.
Asmo, this might be up your alley.
Why?
Very good quality weapons.
I know this might sound a bit silly, but could I look at that short sword? Because I only have this.
And I like retract my arm and bring out my scimitar, which is very crude in design.
Denier will turn and he will walk over and hand T-Wig the sword.
It's a short sword, correct?
Yes.
And go first.
Masterwork quality, so +1 to hit.
Okay, +1.
Ooh.
Don't know what else is in the box, but there's these weird hollow metal tubes. I'm not quite sure what they're for.
Piping, maybe. I don't know. You said you found a sword?
Denier motions over to the sword that he's handing to T-Wig. There might be more in the box. Come have a look.
Yeah,
in the box?
they're layered in there with what appears to be dried grass or hay.
Like, you repeat that? Grass hay?
Yeah, they're layered in there. The hay and dried grass appears to be used as a packing material of sorts.
Asmo's gonna
Over
pick
here.
up one.
Oh, thank you.
Asmo's gonna pick up one.
Yeah, you find yourself another masterwork short sword in there.
Ah, damn, son. Look at this bad boy. This is well made. This is the kind of thing you get for the army, you know, or the local.
If they are this well made, if this was retaliation for a theft or even just a theft in and of itself, you think they would have taken these?
Yeah, you think so, right? But clearly they didn't. How many do they have?
Asmo looks at all the boxes.
As you're clawing through this one, you find 6 swords inside this one, along with a number of those metal tubes.
All right.
I still got my God bless it. I still have my bag of holding I spent all my money on. So Asmo starts just putting the swords in.
Sure thing. You start dropping in short swords. 1, 2, 3. You collect 5 of them, as T-Wig has 1.
Damn.
5 masterwork.
5 masterwork sword swords. Jesus.
Yes.
No, don't forget, Asmo's making a lot of money for a reason.
Could I take another one?
No, they're all mine.
Okay, it's fine.
You gotta role play it out of Asmo's hands, Nadine. You gotta role play it out of Asmo's hands.
I will turn you into a deer.
Make you drink your own pee.
You wouldn't fucking dare.
Try me.
Asmo pulls a sword, puts it right to T-Wig's throat. And flips it around and hands it to him.
There you go. You have 2 swords now. Now you can be like me.
Like with like a kid with 2 glow sticks, I start waving them around and go wee, and then run back.
What do you have there, T-Wig?
A knife!
No!
I'm checking out this undiscovered part of the map over here.
Sure thing. Let me.
Real quick, I wanted to ask because I know we want to move on here. The piping. Do we know what metal that pipe is made out of?
It seems to be made out of iron or steel.
Oh, those look like really well forged piping. So,
How long are the pipes?
They are. You have a lot of them. Each of them appear to be between 6 inches and a foot.
Oh, okay. I have an idea what it is, and I'm excited if it is what it is. But Asmo is going to take how much of that? How much of them do they have?
Of the pipes,
Yeah.
probably about a dozen. 6 of each size.
Well, Asmo is gonna just start grabbing them, throwing them in the bag.
All right.
There's metal over there if you want that. We might be able to sell it to a blacksmith.
metal's metal, money's money, you know. So, I'll take a look in a second here. I'm gonna take these pipes. I don't know what these are for, but it took a while to make, nonetheless. God damn! Look at this sucker.
Lenny, is there any roll I can make to try to take a guess at it, or is this beyond my area of expertise?
You can always roll.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not it's beyond your area of expertise happens to be it changes the difficulty of it. But I would say a general intelligence roll would probably be your best bet. Or
22.
As you're looking at these materials, you're looking at the inside of the tubes themselves. You kind of run your finger around it. It feels like there are some grooves on the inside. They seem familiar to you in a relative sense of what you've come to know as what's been called rifling.
Asmo, these are gun barrels.
Do we know what guns are in this universe?
You know,
You
Wolfgang
can't
has
even
one.
fit anything in there. That's a really shitty barrel.
He said like Wolfgang's gun, like his
And
magical
kind of like your
boost.
blaster knuckle in a way. They just
Like, remember Barnsey? That thing he pulled on us at the graveyard back at Birchwood Creek?
Yeah, he had a bit of a blunderbuss on him, something that was just filled with explosive powder that would fire things out when prompted.
Basically, take Wolfgang's weapon and make it a lot longer. There you go.
What you talking about over there?
Found
you
some
might
gun
find-
barrels.
Gun barrels. He'll walk back over. I'll inspect them. Are they in fact gun barrels?
Sure enough, I'll let Denir's investigation slide with you on this one, as he kind of shows you through it. As you're looking at it, sure enough, the pattern on the inside of the barrel, while not as intricate or as well crafted as that of Requiem, it definitely seems to be a poor imitation of sorts.
Huh. And I would know that guns, that firearms are gnomish technology, correct?
Yes, as far as you're aware, the only ones that know how to craft something like this would be somebody of gnomish descent or at least gnomish tutelage.
These are gnomish.
Oh, like
Jamat.
Timmy? Oh.
Jamat or Timmery, yeah.
Which only adds to my theory that these were stolen.
Well, they're not gnomes, so either they were stolen or traded for. The question is, why are they still here?
they didn't take them back.
Or they didn't want them.
Maybe they didn't notice them. I mean, this was just one crate. The rest of it was only metal.
What if they're coming back for it?
I think they would have taken it as soon as they were able.
I take all the gun barrels.
Just Asmo starts lifting up the crate and dumping it in the bag of holding.
How many gun barrels do I have?
You have 6 that are a foot long and 6 that are half foot long.
The wheels in Wolfgang's head fucking turn, and he allows this. I might be wanting those sometime.
Well, I have your pee, so we're even.
Correction, I have his pee.
I hold my hand out for him to shake. It's a deal, then.
It's a deal. It's a deal.
And I feel like that is as good a place as any to take a quick break as I have to pee. Hey guys, this is Lanipator, and I wanted to thank you for rolling with me. You can roll with me live Mondays at 5 o'clock Central Time on twitch.tv/Lanipator. Now, back to the game. So you've discovered that some of these crates appear to be either stolen or traded for, but definitely didn't come from this camp of whatever these lizard-like cave dwellers are. And you even discovered a few barrels which appear to be the makings of some sort of rifle or firearm amongst the crates themselves. Along with many, many corpses, as far as you can tell, at least a dozen or so that you've come across so far.
Well, at the very least, the flies are going to be eating well for the next few days.
Oh yeah, they are. Well, not really for lots of days. They're gonna die in like less than that, but they'll be happy for those less moments.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, let's all be thankful that the flies are getting something out of this.
Hey, someone's got to root
No
for
one
them.
ever thinks of the flies.
I'm checking out this area over here.
All right, start traveling further in, looking over the corridor. From where you're at, Wolfgang, you can see that this corridor in the cave seems to lead to what appears to be something that's very rare to spot, but it looks like there's a source of water further down that corridor.
There's water over here.
Explains why they settled down here.
Isn't that like illegal?
Only if it's unnatural.
Well, everything about this place is unnatural, so let's go check it out, guys.
Pitter patter.
What's up
sorry.
here, by the way, Lanny?
In this little outcropping between the forge and what appears to be a that source of water that you see further down, you're looking over. Looks like a few more supplies of sorts. You're not sure what's in the barrels that you're standing by, but it appears to be some sort of storage area. So it would appear to you.
Yeah, I'll take a look at it while they're looking at the water, at least for the moment.
All right. Pop open one of the barrels fairly easily. You pop
16.
the ring open. Yeah. As you look inside, the smell is the first thing that hits you. It looks like it's black powder.
Wolfgang?
What?
I think I found black powder.
Gun barrels.
Is
and
it just
black
this
powder.
entire barrel?
Unless it's layered with something else. But as you popped it open, it seems to be a hogshead of black powder.
I'll go ahead and hand it over to Wolfgang so he can inspect it. Yeah, these things might have been getting ready to start making guns, or at least trying to.
I doubt they'd even been able to succeed.
Unless they had help.
Gnomish firearms are... You're right. What would the gnome? Would I know about? Would Jamat have ever talked about like a gnomish city or something like that?
Give me a history check with advantage.
Here I go. 19 across the board.
In your talks with Jamat, you've had many a late night staying up, drinking together, just passing back and forth old stories. You know that there are communities of gnomes out there. A lot of them like to live under hills or just kind of off on their own. They're typically fairly secluded folk whenever they're in their own communities. But you know that at least in this type of cave dwelling, they don't seem to live further in the underdark of the world more often than not. They typically live fairly close to the surface and not too far away from other friendly civilizations. They aren't exactly a lot of those communities aren't really social, but they aren't like they don't seclude themselves. And there are several families that have moved out and just kind of joined, I guess what you'd call like the Kingdom of Man society.
I don't know of any gnomish communities that would be all the way out here, but
Maybe they're deeper inside the mountains. Deep gnomes.
not that I've ever heard of.
I was just assumed deep gnomes were like even shorter. Or fatter, I couldn't quite tell.
Would I know what a deep gnome is?
I'd say with that,
Svirflimblum.
Svizvervlim. You do know that there are members of each race that has, like certain tribes of each race has delved further and further into the earth with time. The most common that you're familiar with happen to be the Drow, but they fell out of the grace of their people for a very different reason, whereas a lot of these other races that seem to want to live just in seclusion in pure darkness did so due to becoming some form of exile in a time long since past. You've met a few Duergar in your time, so you can assume that there may very well be humans that are like that, gnomes that are like that, halflings that are like that. You've just never really come across any specifically in your travels.
Well, judging from the looks of things, it seems that these creatures, these lizard folk, came across some gnomish technology somehow. And this doesn't look like it was a robbery. This was a massacre.
Yeah.
Or maybe punishment, as we've seen before from Vander's children.
Could be, but the way that T-Wig mentioned it, there was too many to be Vander's kin. They tend to go in, ones, maybe twos?
Maybe they're like Horatian. There's just a lot of them that he just doesn't care about.
I wouldn't put it past him.
I hope not.
Someone like Harash, but with a god's power.
That's absolutely terrifying.
As you wander away from the storage area and further down the area where you can see and hear the water, as you get closer to it, you notice that it's not really flowing. It seems to be more of a stagnant pool of water, further polluted by the fact that you see several more corpses floating amongst this relatively shallow pool. As you walk into this water storage area, you find a couple of bodies floating face down in its, I'd say, half a foot deep pools.
Even
Further
down here.
up on the ledge, you can see a few more corpses scattered about the rocks up top.
Ugh.
Whoever came in here really didn't stop at just one room. They cleansed the whole damn place of people.
You say that. Could each of you give me an investigation check or a survival check of your choosing?
I'll go with investigation.
15.
22.
18.
25.
Wolfgang, Denier, and T-Wig, as Asmo's saying that, you realize that after looking at all of these corpses, you've seen some that appear to be more feminine, some that are larger, almost like warrior-like, but you haven't seen a single child.
Huh.
They ate the children. My God.
Or they took the children. This is going to sound a little bit dark. This might have been a raid for the children, unless the children are hiding. Use the children as servants, so to speak, or laborers.
We
hard
keep
to
on
even think
keeping
about.
on, and we any other way. This is the go. Looks like there's another pathway up there.
Asmo gestures kind of to northern face of the room.
Yeah, there appears to be a spot that leads further in that way.
In for a penny. In for a copper. You know.
I'm going to use my
Asmo-
climbing speed, and I'm going to climb onto the wall and skirt myself around this pool of water to the other side.
Sure, it's not too difficult, and the ledge isn't actually that high. You're looking at maybe like a 3-foot step up from the bottom of that pool to the top of that ledge. This is not a particularly deep reservoir. Like I said, even the amount of water in it right now appears to be only about half a foot, which is a sizable amount of water considering you're in a desert, but it's not exactly, swimmable. These bodies are barely floating in it at all. Yeah, Denier, you climb up and over, and as you get to the top there, you get a better view of the corridor leading northward. Seems to hook off to the side a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to the northeast. I'd suggest we check this chamber. If they have black powder and rifle barrels, the other pieces might be in different chambers.
Well, let's keep on going. I mean, we're here. Let's find out what the hell happened and then get on moving. No offense, I don't mean to push you guys, but I do have only a couple days left.
Well, you have like 13 with the deer piece, so maybe. Oh. Yeah,
That's
probably...
what just sighs when he hears the deer pee. Oh my God!
All right, let's get going. I guess.
Let's climb up. Aspo's gonna try and climb up the rock face.
It's not even really worth a roll. Like I said, it's about. Or are you trying to crawl along the wall and not touch the water?
No, I want to
like
crawl
Denier
up
did?
to here.
Yeah, that's easy enough. Like it's a 3-foot gap. You push yourself up. You could probably make it just by doing a high knee.
Ah, perfect. Asmo holds down his hand to offer up a Wolfgang and T-Wig to join him.
We're going up?
Yeah. I mean,
Yep.
around the corner.
Oh,
right.
right here. Well, I thought I always.
I
looked
thought
at
we
this
were
map.
leaving. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I thought we were going deeper into the cave.
Let's keep on moving.
I got the sense that we were leaving. Sorry.
Oh, apologies. Sorry.
Looks like there's a way down here, too.
Ah, God.
Let's
Is
split
it?
the party. I'll go with Denier.
Let's split up.
Is this a
All right,
box?
guys,
Like,
flip and search for clues.
Sorry, what was that?
Is this a box beside me?
It looks to be a lean of sorts, underneath which you see a couple of buckets that look in various wear. Give me an investigation as you're checking them if you'd like.
Sure. 21.
Due to the wear, on them, you actually see you also find granules of sand amongst there. This looks like that the equipment under this lean looks to be used to transport water. So you're guessing that it is brought from the river and dumped into this little reservoir here for collection. Because inside you have what appears to be a back-mounted jug and 2 buckets and a long dowel rod to balance both on.
Yep, this place isn't natural. They brought water here from the river.
Good on him. All right, guys, best of luck. Anything bad, yell a lot.
Out of character. Oh.
That's okay. Hope that
Look over at T-Wig. You wanna split the group, or do you wanna go up north first, then head south?
I don't want you being by yourself. You're made out of like paper and glass. If
I think
someone
it's-
sneezes, you'll die instantly.
I think it's I like splitting up. This is fun. Who do you want to go with first, Nick?
Give me a initiative roll. I'll go with the highest of whichever group.
Denier.
That one.
20.
Okay.
17.
All right, we're going with Daenerys' group first.
12.
Go banana.
Go banana.
Appreciate the confidence there, T-Wig.
Yeah.
As you guys travel down the southern corridor of this little split, you find an oddly corpse-free room, although there does look to have been a disturbance in here. Seems to be a resting chamber of sorts. You see a couple of campfires, another lean with a small sleeping cot beneath it, some dried grass that some people would appear to sleep on. It also seems to have a small fortification of sorts near another doorway that leads outward back into the desert, and then there is another door that leads out the cliff face further to the south. These both appear to be entrances into this
From other
area
holes.
from outside, yeah.
Alright.
Hey, T-Wig, do you mind if I ask you something real quick?
Uh-oh,
Something
okay.
that's been bugging me.
Sure, what's up?
When I left and you lot went after the dragons, you remember that, right?
When we went back to the town?
Yeah, we went back to the town. There was like fire and stuff coming out of the palace, and I ran off and you lot ran into it.
Yeah, all about that. Yeah, what about that?
I assume you lot talked to the dragons afterwards, right?
Talk is a word that I wouldn't use for that, but sure.
If I might ask, who was it that told the dragons
Who told the dragons what?
where I was?
Told you where.
One of you 3 told the dragons where I went.
I think that might have been. I
Like, visibly, I start sweating oil.
I don't want to. So, okay, I've been reading about criminals, and there's thing that's called snitches get stitches. And I don't know if I want to be committed to being a snitch, but are you mad? Are you gonna, like, eat the person who did this, or?
Eat them?
Well, I mean, like, whenever in the wild, if something pisses you off, you just eat it, and that's how it works, but.
No. It's just one of those things where I know that one of you 3 told the dragons that Ramses was helping me, and I'm just wondering which one it was.
Okay, 1 second. Do I want to take a bullet for Wolfgang? Do I want to take a bullet for Wolfgang?
Something you have to decide for
I
yourself.
know.
That's a no from Asmo. I will not.
Flatly, I go,
I did it. It was me.
Roll deception.
oh boy, this should be good. 19, holy shit.
All right. Denier, insight versus that.
All right.
T-Wig, you're a criminal now.
Criminal now. No, I'm a snitch now, which means I'm gonna get stitches. Fuck!
Oh.
24.
Denier, you know T-Wig's nature, and it's pretty easy to... You're pretty easy to look at and gauge whether T-Wig is lying. T-Wig definitely feels uncomfortable about it, but you know that T-Wig did not do it.
Ears are going crazy right now. The ears are like flicking around everywhere.
Clang.
Denier smiles just a little bit, and he'll go back to looking into what it was.
Look, Wolfgang will sell someone out, but I won't. Oh!
I clap my hand to my face.
Clang.
I knew it wasn't you because you haven't been around the group long enough to know of my relationship with Ramses. And I would like to do an investigation on the thing I'm looking at right now.
All right,
I would like to assist as well.
Yeah, go ahead, investigate with advantage.
20.
As you're looking around this area, you note that you see several tracks and clamoring points heading further north. Whatever happened came from up north. And whoever was resting here rushed to assist or try to stop it. Clearly failed. But the reason that this area is bereft of corpses is simply because the people who were resting here or guarding this area took their business northward.
Look at these tracks, T-Wig. Every single one of them are leading to the north. More than likely, they came in from the north the way that Wolfgang and Asmo are coming. Everybody here ran up to try to meet them. And while they were coming down, these people were coming up, and these are probably the people that were dead in the next chamber.
And there's other footprints here as well?
This is just like the various scufflery and all the signs are pointing that the two lizard folk that were laying around here clamored northward in a very quick fashion and almost panicky.
Whatever it was, they were scared of it. Maybe we should meet up with the group again.
Yeah, I'd suggest that. We need to get going because they might be meeting something nasty up there.
Also, and I just grip his shoulder, please don't kill Wolfgang. He has a son.
Meanwhile, while this is going on, Wolfgang and Asmo have been traveling north of the cave where they discover what appears to be a granary of sorts, as well as what appears to be another guard post. More specifically here, you do see that some of the grain that is in the far north cubby of this cavern seems to have been spilled and kind of scattered across the ground, leading towards the fire pit set at its very center. Almost as though like a small explosion went off.
You take top, I'll take bottom. How does that sound?
Fair enough.
All right, as you guys split up and begin looking around this area, go ahead and give me investigation or survival checks of your choice.
Oh, beautiful. 5.
It's gonna be an investigation. 14.
Asmo, it's hard for you to get much more of a grip on this space than there was anything else. To you, everything just seems the same. You found 2 more bodies lying amongst the grains down here. but there do appear to be a smattering of tracks in the grain. And Wolfgang, it's a little easier for you to see some of it from your vantage point, but it's all getting kind of... It all looks really shuffled.
Tracks.
But there are tracks that seem to be leading further down into the cave back to where you came from the cavern to your north there.
Tracks coming in this way, so they might have come in this way and jumped everybody. That's why everyone outside was shot or hit by stuff everyone inside here tried to fight off, and as everyone ran, they all got blasted on their way out. Looks like they took out the guard here.
I want to inspect the body of the guard I'm at right now. The one right by the what looks like a little posting.
In what regard? What are you looking for?
I want to see how he died in particular.
All right. Give me a medical check.
Okay. It's a 10.
This guy died differently from the others. He doesn't have arrows in him, and there isn't just like a regular puncture wound. There isn't a burn mark on him. This seems a lot more violent. It's hard for you to say exactly what caused it, but this man looks like he got eviscerated. Like from stem to stern, torn apart. Like his chest cavity was like ripped open.
Hey, Wolfgang, come here.
Asmoslav squatting over the body.
Don't get any red on you, but if this is the final outpost and we go around the corner and there's no more bodies, this might be the first kill that happened. And you know, when you gotta imagine it this way, say you and a group of guys are like sneaking into a place, right? You're heading into a place. You send your best guy in first to silence the guard, right? Why the fuck would they send this guy to do this to this dude? This doesn't even look like another guy killed him. Like everyone else hit with burns or like fiery arrows, you know, I get that, but this guy got ripped open. Yeah, his guts ripped out of him.
Is this the only body that we've seen that looks this bad?
It seems that way. You haven't done a thorough accounting of every single body. Some of them are face down, but this is the first one that you've seen that has a wound like this that you've examined. Of the several dozen bodies, or of the dozen or so bodies that you've found and examined, this is the first one that you found with this wound.
Let's go up around the corner. And by the way,
Asmo just pulls out both of his weapons.
I think it's safe to say we should be armed going forward.
Fair enough. I summon Requiem.
All right.
Asmo's going to creep up and peek around the corner.
All right, you peek around the corner. At the far end of the hall, you just see a pile of rocks, and it seems to lead further around the corner. It seems to be another corner further in.
Asmo combat action rolls across to the other wall and starts sliding along it.
All right, Asmo Metal Gear snakes his way over, and as you look around this corner up here,
yes,
it seems to lead further and further downward into the mountain. Traveling further this way would take you into what you know as the Underdark, the series of caves that perpetuate the lands of Marmaria that connect to any locations on the surface if you can find the right corridor. But
and it just goes deeper and deeper inside.
You're assuming whatever came through these people came from down there.
Asmo comes back to Wolfgang.
All right. From what I can tell, the pathway goes straight down into the earth. So whatever came up through these people's home came from deep, deep down.
Denier, T-Wig, by this point, you probably would have finished your discussion down there and made it to the granary area.
And this one time, I saw him help an old lady walk across the street, and this other time, I saw him give to...
listing of all of
Trying to
Wolfgang's.
talk me up to fucking.
Asmo goes back to slab squatting over the body. Asmo wants to see if there's any puncture, like if there's teeth, like teeth puncture wounds, or these were claws that ripped this guy open.
If Wolfgang is assisting you, one of you can give me medical with advantage.
You should probably do that.
Nothing. 6.
Well, with advantage is 14.
Oh, yay!
This, again, you're having a very hard time parsing what did this, but whatever happened to this creature, it appears to have not been done with a tool. This looks violent, almost savage in a way that would be done by something with like something from a beast, but you're not noticing any like real claw puncture marks. This is some form of brute force that ripped into this thing and tore its ribcage apart.
Yikes.
And Denier and T-Wig, as you enter this area, you see them squatting over this eviscerated body. Up to the north is another body of undetermined death.
Everything down south is a resting area. There's no corpses there. Looks like the attack came from this direction, and they ran up here to try to fend it off.
Well, they failed.
Asmo gestures down to the fucking mutilated body.
Yeah, you also notice the grain with a smattering of tracks and things amongst it.
I don't know. That looks pretty brutal to be the folks that did the rest of it. Think it might be something different?
No, one of them might have done it a little bit differently.
This body is completely eviscerated.
Well, this has been a fun little rest stop along the way to death. Ay, ay, ay.
I'll take a look up here while they're looking at the body.
All right, go ahead and give me an investigation check for the area.
That's a 12.
They're definitely the granary itself seems to have blown up in some way, shape, or form, scattering all this grain outwards towards where everybody else is gathered around these bodies.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, it's kind of hard to see anything really out of place aside from, the corpses themselves.
Anything salvageable, like any kind of salvageable grain, or is everything just scattered?
It seems like these seems like mixed grains. You're seeing some wild rice in there, various forms of seeds, but nothing that seems of particular interest to you.
Okay.
Can I roll a medicine check on the body?
Go for it.
Awesome. My character sheet is loading. I'm sorry.
No worries.
17.
As you're looking at this thing's eviscerated form, you've seen brutality like this in nature before, creatures that have just torn things apart. Things like bears would do this, but as you're looking at this, you know that no claw did this. It appears to be done by humanoid hands. More than one pair appears to have been tearing at this creature. You see various markings, bruising about the scalature of its face and throat and neck and torso. It seems like it was being torn apart by dozens of pairs of hands.
Interesting.
And that a couple of these hands managed to tear their way through some of the flesh and just started ripping and tearing and pulling.
Well, whatever attacked here worked as a pack. I think we should go. I'm getting weird feelings.
Right.
Where does the other end of that cave go?
Deep, deep, deep into the dark.
Lanny, can I make a roll? Given that I've been underground on the way here, and I know that the Bleeding Gods minions have started taking over the undergrounds, can I make a check and see if this is the work of them, given my history and my constant proximity to them?
I'll give you a general intelligence check on that.
14?
Based on what you know of these creatures, the fact that they're very chaotic in nature, the attack on the inside, and the fact that so many corpses were left just laying about, this seems far too organized in some ways. This appears to be like, it appears almost like military precision in some cases, but with some of the eviscerations on these bodies very different in other ways. But you can say with at least 60% certainty that you don't think it was these creatures. Or at least that they weren't the things in charge.
Could be the Bleeding Gods minions pushing further up, pushing things that are underground further up. Might have forced them out to the surface. I don't think that the work of this is probably not the Bleeding Gods minions, but it could be something that they're forcing out of their habitat.
Wouldn't be shocked if it was more upsetting of the natural order of things on Vander's part.
Could be.
All right, so what's your call from here?
I think we've exhausted our options down here.
Yeah, Denier does not want to go deeper into the cave, especially since he's been down there previously. On the way into the desert, he does not want to go back.
Can the lot of you give me a perception check real quick?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
17.
4.
15.
24.
T-Wig,
Oh boy.
down the ways, you hear the clattering of metal back from the hallway whence you camest.
Which hallway? Like the one we and Denier were down, or the water area?
It's definitely coming from down the waterway. It's hard for me to tell. It's hard for you to tell which direction from there, just because it's a cave and sound kind of bounces around the walls. But you can tell it came back down from that way. There was a clattering of metal, like just something falling over.
All right, I am going to cast Longstrider on myself. And I'm going to book it to where I heard that sound without saying a word.
Okay. T-Wig's ears dart back, and T-Wig's legs, they begin to glow as, with a preternatural speed, they begin marching backwards.
Well, T-Wig, where you
see this?
T-Wig, where you going? Oh my god. T-Wig's running off somewhere.
Oh, damn it, not again.
T-Wig! T-Wig!
I keep listening. Do I hear any more sounds?
Give me another perception check with advantage.
Okay. Perception. Advantage. Natural 20.
Oh!
For
Clear as
28.
day, you can hear what sounds like coming from the hall, coming from the main hall that you came from when you entered the first time.
Beelining it, booking
Yeah.
it.
T-Wig, come on. Oh my god.
And as you come scooting in this way, you see a couple of shadows back towards the forge area, sort of dart behind what appears to be a small shadowy crevice over in
Maybe it's the kids.
And I run over to it.
The what? I don't get Oh, wait, it's a robot. It's a metal man. What do you want?
Asmo just starts chasing after him.
Yeah.
Yeah, T-Wig blitzes it over there. You notice that one of the bodies has shifted as well. And as you make your way to the back of this forge-like area, one of these rocks near the back is loose, where you saw those shadows escape to.
I'm gonna go over and touch the rock.
On the inside, you hear almost kind of like panicked muttering of these creatures.
What?
I found the thing.
The what?
Are we starting to hear this muttering as well?
They're whispering, so T-Wig is picking up on it.
You know what? I'm gonna reach and I'm gonna grab whatever's in there and drag it out.
Give me an athletics check to move the rock, first of all.
Athletics check? Okay.
Yeah.
-1. Let's go. 16, actually.
These creatures were not ready for you to move that, even though they're trying to, like, bolster it shut. It just slides out of the way, and on the inside there, you see... there seems to be a small nook underneath this entire little upcropping, just filled with these, what appear to be the children of these creatures, as well as one larger one that's haphazardly holding a dagger. And it holds its hand back towards the younger ones as it's holding the dagger out towards you, shivering and panicking.
I found them! Can anyone speak their language?
What language are they speaking?
It's not one that you're particularly familiar with. The closest might be Asmo, who does speak lizard folk or draconic. Anybody? How many of you speak draconic or lizard?
I speak Draconic.
I speak Draconic.
I do not speak either.
I'm gonna druid craft a flower to the one that's pointing a dagger towards me. And I go,
"Hi, this is for you."
The closest language to these creatures would be Draconic, but even that is like, it's like French compared to English, basically, in that tongue.
Comment ça va? Ça va bien?
Give me a
Je m'appelle Asmo.
persuasion check with disadvantage. T-Wig.
persuasion check with disadvantage, alright. Great. 4.
It continues to back further into the cave, pushing the younger ones back.
T-Wig, back off. T-Wig, back off.
Okay, fine.
I just drop the flower and walk away.
I'll freaking try this.
Asmo gets down and Slav squats right in front of the hole.
I go next to Wolfgang and I turn to him and go,
No one in this stupid place wants to be my friend. This sucks.
With your dark vision, you can see the kind of the gleam of this person's eyes as they're standing in the shadows in front of what appears to be maybe 5 or 6 younger lizard people.
Oh shit, wait a minute. I cast tongues.
That'll do. Does that only affect you, or does that affect everybody?
It affects me. It's touch.
Tell you what, not the metagame. Try that. Let's try that after. I want to show you how this works. I got an idea. Asmo just slab squats in front of the hole and pulls out both of his blades. And Asmo puts them down on the ground. Just drops them.
Come on. Come on out. Whatever killed isn't here anymore. We are travelers, and we just passed through.
And Asmo just takes his blades and just pulls away from the hole and sits down on his butt. By the fire pit.
As you were speaking in a dialect that's closer to theirs, give me a persuasion check.
Okay, let's see if this works. 19.
Kill. Pass.
This lizard-like creature begins to wander outward toward you, making its way out from under, still directing the children behind it to stay back as she lowers her head and wanders out.
You. No harm. No harm.
No harm. No need to harm. You have already.
Asmo just gestures to the bodies.
Too much harm already.
Much. Much harm.
You can see a
Asmo points.
hint of sadness drain across its face. This creature seems haggard and at the very end of many ropes.
Asmo points at himself.
Asmo.
Asmo points to Denier.
Denier.
Asmo points to Wolfgang.
Wolfgang.
And Asmo points to T-Wig.
T-Wig.
Tuga.
Points at herself.
Tuga.
Tuga.
What happened, Tuga?
Happen after mate and other champions leave. Dark creatures. Yeah, they come and kill. Tuga hide children. Save children. Others protect Tuga and children. Others dead. Others pass.
Yeah. I'm gonna ask you a question or two. Try and answer the best you can.
She seems to be struggling to keep up with your full sentence words, but is just.
Okay, Asmo realize. Does Asmo realize this?
You can tell that there is a lot going on in this creature's mind, and trying to follow your. To her, your broken dialect.
Asmo gestures.
Arrow. Fire. These creatures use that to hurt?
Many. Blade. Arrow, yes.
Was that
fire
only that?
and shadow.
Or was shadow?
Shadow creature.
What
And
did they look
many
like?
Creature.
Killers, creatures. What did they look like, though?
Looking amongst your companions.
Not like you, more him.
Points towards Wolfgang.
But no. But others. The most like him, but no. But two. The shadow and the many.
Shadow in them. Were they all the same? All same, or was others different?
Six carry big box. Then others not carrying box. Some arrows, some spear, some throw fire. And then there was shadow and the many.
What is the shadow?
It is shadow. It could still be It was Shadow. I don't remember too much. It's Shadow. Shadow Man.
Wolfgang, what is it?
I'm just clearing my throat. That was me.
Just so you know, I'm translating for Wolfgang and T-Wig.
That's good, thank you. Shadow and the many.
Yes, the many.
By the many, when you say the many, do you mean one or many?
And Asmo gestures to all the bodies.
It was one, but it was many. It tear and throw. It grab. I hide. I save children.
Asmo turns.
Protect.
Asmo just turns.
Yeah, it looks like it was a group of something, but there was a big sucker in there. It's called the Shadow. I think we found out what ripped apart that guard back there.
And the many. The shadow and the many.
Shadow and the many.
Others.
Shadow, the many, and the others. The others seem to be like basic soldiers or foot fighters, but the many and the Shadow are special or something, whoever these were.
Monsters.
Monsters.
Does this sound anything at all like anything I've heard before?
With its vague description, you'd have to give me a knowledge check with disadvantage, just with these vague descriptories you're getting.
Knowledge check. Would that be
Intelligence.
intelligence? All right. Here I go. 4.
The shadow could be many things. It could be a specter. It could just be a very well hidden person, just like an assassin of sorts. It's very hard for you to tell with that. And with the many, you have no idea what that could mean.
Tuga, are there other... Where is there anywhere you can go?
No. Mate return after fight. They champions. They bring salvation.
Are they going? Your champions went to the tournament.
They fight.
Yes, the fight. That's where we're going.
You champions.
I'm gonna try.
You be torn by Zug.
By Zug.
By Bugdug.
Bugdug, Zug. Those your champions?
Yes. Ugnug. Mate.
Ugnug is your mate.
I'm gonna write that down.
Do you wait here? So you wish wait here for them to come back? But what if the many, the Shadow, the others, what if they come back?
Tuga hide children, protect. Must.
Do you have enough food?
Looks around.
Yes. Much meat.
Might not be good to eat.
All meat is eat meat.
That is true.
Asmo just nods like, that is true. All meat is eat meat. Asmo, like,
A T-Wig. Can you come over here for a second?
Oh, you sure they're not gonna stab me with their knife?
They're not gonna stab you with their knife, T-Wig.
Okay, I come over.
T-Wig, can you give me a good berry? Go faster.
I can do you better. I can give you... how many do I get per spell?
10. I can make 10 right now.
just put a bunch of good berries in. Asmo's holding out his hand.
I'll do 2 castings of good berry and make 20 good berries.
As you hand them out to Tuga, she holds out her hand, grabs one from your hand, and sniffs it, kind of licks it with this very long, almost Komodo dragon-like tongue.
Asmo puts one in his mouth and pops it. Oh.
Tuga follows suit and bites down, almost shocked by the flavor that protrudes her mouth. As you can tell, this creature probably has not eaten maybe any fruit in its entire life. The sweetness of it is a shock.
T-Wig is friend.
Tuga full.
T-Wig is good friend who makes people full.
For children. This
These for children. I don't know how long. I don't think you want to come with us, nor can you. But if you're gonna be here, don't feed dead bodies to children.
but meat is meat his way.
Meat is meat, but cook it now. Don't wait a while. Meat goes bad, you know that.
Yes. Much to do. Fire up. Forge. Yes.
These are in case. In case meat is not good, you have these berries.
Yes.
If
For children.
Yes, for the children. Kids shouldn't be hungry. Ever.
Yes.
If we're gonna leave, probably. Now, if we see Ugnug, what should we tell him? And the other champions of your village.
You see Ugnug at fight. You say goodbye. You die.
Axel starts laughing.
I never say goodbye, I say see you soon. So I guess I'll be seeing your mate Ugnug really soon.
Yes. And then you die.
And then I die. Maybe even before then.
Maybe.
Alright. Aslan just gets up off his feet and just turns to the
You still don't have your shirt on, right?
Yeah, Aslan's not wearing a shirt.
As you stand up and your cloak kind of drapes a little bit, she kind of winces back from you a little.
What?
That's what it says.
She points at your chest.
Oh, the scar?
What about it?
This. Asmo points right at the mark in the middle of his chest.
Shadow's eyes. And the many.
The Shadow's eyes and the many, they have this mark.
She nods and starts to walk backwards. She throws the berries down on the ground.
You leave.
Daenerys speaks up. Him enemy of Shadow. Shadow leave wound.
Shadow no leave wound.
She points to... She seems to point across from Wolfgang back towards this body over here.
Shadow no leave wound. You leave and die.
Oh,
Goodbye.
can I see where she's pointing?
You can tell that she was pointing at something back towards that way, and you know that there's a body over there.
I'm gonna go and inspect.
She walks back into the shadows and shifts the rock back, and you can hear her once again communing with the children.
Aski, you know what am I? Kuya what am I? Chiwakabao.
Asmo just walks away.
So the Shadow. Well, the Shadow. And the many and the others all had this mark.
Azo taps his chest.
It's either a monster that Solomon made or it's Solomon himself.
No. Meaning that was probably Drow that did this. That's why they
He
said
did
they looked
say he
sick.
was going to see us soon, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
That makes no
I'm
sense.
gonna grab a log and like turn this body over. Excuse me.
Oh my.
As you flip this body, it seems to have no discernible mark on it whatsoever. No slash, no fire, no nothing.
Good.
Its eyes are
detective
rolled
magic.
back in its head in this look of almost like insta-death of absolute terror on its face, from what you can tell from its expression.
Ah, no visible wounds, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Can I roll an arcane check?
Detect
Sure.
magic.
Whatever was affecting this creature is long since passed.
21.
21. Whatever killed this creature, it seemed to rip the life force straight from it in near instant.
Yeah, this is necromancy. This is high level necromancy. Almost as though his life essence was ripped right out of his body.
Yep. This is Solomon's doing.
Yeah, but if it was Solomon, then why are the bodies still here? He's the type to collect toys. Unless he has other business and this was just an amusement trip.
I wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah, it seems like the kind of guy who would walk into a town. Oh, look, there's a bunch of people here.
Just so making a bunch of like obvious magic effects.
He seems like the type. Dick. We should get going.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I need to go kill Ugnug.
All right, you guys make your way out of the cave, past the field of corpses outside, and back into the sun is starting to wane in the sky as you've been spending a bit of time in there. It's getting a little later in the day, so you have to make the call whether you want to continue on your journey for as long as you can or make camp around here.
We shouldn't make camp here. We should make some speed, some distance from this place. All the dead bodies, just bad energy. I don't like it.
That's also going to draw a number of scavengers, especially if there are more of those things that we fought yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Good point. We should get going here.
Yeah, the vultures are already circling overhead.
The holes, is that... Oh, sorry. The holes, are those towards the west of where we are, or was that the holes that we just investigated?
There appear to be a few more speckling around, but you're not, like... There aren't a whole lot more out westward. This appeared to be the community that you were worried about.
Alright, then I will do, as we travel, do 2 third-level summonings of Conjure Animal. One will be 2 more sets of eagles, and I will transform into an eagle. And then the second set will be of camels, I'll say. Some camels.
Alright, so with that, you travel twice more. The spell lasts for, what, about an hour each? Or is it 2 hours
An hour.
each?
Yeah, hour for
Okay.
each one.
So you spend the next 2 hours traveling via these animals. You make it another fair distance further westward as you make camp for the evening. Is there anything... Oh, sorry.
With camp, if we are camping down, I'm going to use a 4th level spell, make 3 floors, lounge, study, observatory on the roof. I'm going to use the mage's private sanctum to make sure that we're secure. And I'm going to alarm the door.
All right.
T-Wig, I got something for you on the roof.
Is it a puppy?
And I run upstairs.
All
No,
the way up
but
to the
it'll
roof.
help you.
Oh, this is nice.
Let's see. The observatory has a telescope and maps of the night sky. So the telescope will help T-Wig scout the distance.
Okay. And yeah, so did a lot of you decide to do anything for the evening?
I've got something if nobody else has anything.
What you got, Denier?
Once again, Denier's going to go up to his study. He is going to work on his book, enchanting his book, his research as usual. And at the very end of the night, when he's about to go to sleep, I would like to cast Dream once again.
Okay. Is there anything anybody else would like to do in the interim while he's doing his studies?
Oh no, Asmo's gonna just put his feet up on that couch and go to sleep. And drink some. Actually, Asmo's gonna drink some pee.
Yay.
You take your poison.
Asmo just with no one looking, slowly on top, so just sticks his tongue in.
Oh, it tastes awful.
You hear in the back of your mind, that's good stuff.
No!
Drink my pee.
Just like he's licking like. Yeah, this is a metaphor for life. To live is pain.
You'll never be able to look my son in the eyes after this.
Yeah, they came from the same tap.
I want out.
No. No,
Lost
Nadine,
in a
you're in it for
fun
the long
campaign,
haul.
Apparently.
Well, this was a great shark jumping episode, guys. I think it really.
Once you drink the pee of your fellow party member, like, where do you go from there, really? Wolfgang, anything you're doing for the evening?
I think. Shit! I got rid of that spell. Yeah, no, I'm not doing anything.
T-Wig?
Can I try and think about Solomon again?
Sure. In what regard?
Just like, have I ever seen or heard anything about him outside of what I've been told by the party?
Religion check again.
Huh? Soft 20.
Soft 20. There doesn't appear to be any real personal connection there. Nothing that really, like, guides your soul or makes you, like, feel anything. But from what you've attempted to learn since last time and gathered through small talk via Denier and Asmo and Wolfgang along the way, you know that he is the son of the god of life and the goddess of death. Somehow made form on this planet. That's the Drow, the Dark Elves, as you know them. There was a tribe of elves that during the purge, during Solomon's rise to power in the north, there was a tribe of elves that decided to side with him, and for their allegiance, they were granted an abnormally long life. They were granted strength and speed, and they serve him loyally, sometimes to a fault. Solomon was the god that began the 1,000-year war that nearly left the land extinct of elves as they fled along with their leader Arcanos out to the east.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, he seems to have the power to bridge the gap between life and death itself.
Okay.
But as far as everybody in this party is concerned, he is somewhere between misunderstood and an asshole, or pure evil.
Okay. I will keep that in the memory bank, and I will sit on top of the observatory, and I will point a direction and just stay there and keep watch.
All right, you spin that telescope. Give me perception with advantage.
25.
Further to the west, you note that maybe in one day's travel time, you will be making it toward that grassland that you've been eyeing for a while. So maybe by the end of tomorrow, if you make enough haste, you'll be there kind of near the edge of this dried plains. So yeah, you're excited about that.
I bounce up and down and then sit down and go into my resting state.
All right, Denier, you sit down after finishing your studies for a bit. Everybody else seems to be tiring down for the evening, and you begin your ritual to cast Dream once again. Who are we casting Dream on tonight?
Tonight, my target is Elliot Connolly.
Ta-da!
Targeting a baby.
Yes.
Don't shoot the baby.
Now, whenever I go into his dream, can I set myself to have, like, say, for example, a specific attire or a specific look about me when I drop into the dream? Or do I just drop into the dream?
Once you drop into the dream, you essentially have pretty much full control over it.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So, however you want to look, you can look.
All right. Then when Denier drops into Elliot's dream, he's going to be himself, but he's going to be dressed up rather nice, but his robe, his cloak, is going to look like it's made out of the night sky itself.
Okay. So, you set yourself down and you begin casting Dream. Does Dream have a save attached to it?
Only if it's a nightmare.
Only if it's a nightmare. Okay.
I just imagine Denier floats into Elliot's dream. Elliot, you're adopted, and just leaves.
Why would you say something so true to him? Ta-da!
All right. As you begin to travel through the dreamscape, you feel yourself floating through this fog that seems to wisp around you. And you see a light emanating from the distance as you're traveling through this foggy dreamscape. You see a shape.
Mm-hmm.
And as you get closer to it, you see that this shape is actually 3 separate forms. You hear the voice of Wolfgang in the distance, and you hear a female voice, very nondescript. It almost seems to shift. And as you get closer, you see that a dark-haired woman is lifting Elliot high into the air and spinning him around. Her face somewhat shapeless, almost as if the dreamer can't quite remember it. But you know it's happy, and Elliot is smiling and holding his arms out. And soon he starts lifting the female off the ground, wings sprouting from his back, full and glorious like an eagle's. Wolfgang himself sprouts wings from his back, not the same translucent wings that you're familiar with, but full-on big stereotypical ass angel wings as he flies up to meet them. And you find yourself kind of floating around the perimeter of this dream.
Mm-hmm. I want to try to, while I'm not going to make major changes, I'm going to try to influence the dream just a little bit.
Yeah, you have control since you're in.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. openly like mess with the dream, but I'm just going to influence slightly. Like the colors are a little bit happier. I'm going to make sure that Elliot has a very, very good dream. And while he's having it, Denier walks up slowly, pulls his hood back, crouches down, and smiles at Elliot. Well,
are you gonna go talk to Elliot?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay. Yeah. You float your way around as he's flying with his family, and yeah. Sorry. Continue what you were about to say.
It's okay. Well, didn't expect to see you here, Wolfgang. And he just smiles a little bit.
Dream Wolfgang seems to be ignoring you entirely, just holding the hand of his son as they're flying around this area, as who you assume to be Elliot's mother is just kind of hanging on to his waistline. But as you talk to Dream Wolfgang, Elliot glances over to you, a smile full on his face. But as he looks you in the eye, you see a blinding flash of light emanating from within his skull. And I need you to make a concentration check.
Okay.
Alrighty.
That's just straight up a con save, right?
Yes.
8. It's gone.
You are blasted out of his dream in this flash of blinding light. Not in a mean sort of way.
Hey Elliot,
but
how's
you
this
were
going?
you were absolutely ejected, and you have a bit of a throbbing headache as you rock forward in your chair from the ritual.
Denier
My
falls
toddler just
backwards.
banished you.
He gives a yell as he falls backwards and tumbles a little bit, landing on the floor, face just laying on the ground, staring up at the ceiling. Okay, that kid is a lot stronger than I give him credit for.
Yeah, you realize that there are...
Did we all hear that?
Anybody around Denier's study, like below him, would probably have heard the thud.
That would be
upstairs as he rolled
everybody
out of a
since
chair.
it was a 3-floor tower.
T-Wig is on the observatory
roof.
up
Yep,
up
that's
top.
one
So
floor above, and the lounge is 1 floor below.
So T-Wig probably would not have heard as you slammed into the floor. Everybody beneath
Even with
you
my
would have heard.
23 passive perception.
Okay, you might. Okay, you probably would have heard that, but it is through stone, so it would have come across as like a to you.
An intruder.
I grab I grab my 2 new swords. And I go downstairs.
Yeah, you climb down the ladder from the hatch, and you see Denier has just kind of like fallen backwards in his chair. Denier, your head's still kind of spinning, realizing that that power that's within Wolfgang's blood, there seems to be a lot more of it than you initially thought, or a lot more to it.
Well, there goes take Elliot on a happy adventure, but holy.
Again, this was not out of malice. This was purely unconscious. What are you?
Yeah, I get you. Denier's just laying on the floor,
For an
holding his
object
head.
detected.
You do not belong.
Leave.
Can I just peek, like crack the door open and take a peek inside and like just slowly like in the crack just shove the sword like.
Yeah, you can open up the hatch that leads down the ladder and just slowly drift your head down.
Everything okay in here?
What the hell is up with Wolfgang's kid?
He's a human puppy.
No,
you
he's
dead?
something more than that.
Have you been robbed?
No.
Okay, bye-bye.
And I just close the door.
Only of a 5th level spell slot.
Okay, I love you. Bye bye.
God damn it,
No
Kurt, that's
discount
pretty good.
for happy
Yeah.
fun with Uncle Kitty.
All right. Well, as that spins through your head, you make your way to bed after maybe jotting a little bit in your journal about your experience there. And here's where we will end tonight's session.
Woo!